बॉलीवुड लाइव के सारे दर्शकों को मेरा नमस्कार। आज मेरे साथ है राणा दग्गुबती।
सर नमस्कार।
He is probably, I mean, he has been called so many names after Bahubali, in which he did the iconic character, one of the most legendary characters of Indian cinema, बल्लाल देव। लेकिन आज हम बाहुबली के बाद, क्योंकि वो छाप पड़ गया है, तो इसलिए इंट्रोडक्शन तो वही से करते हैं हम। लेकिन आज हम उनकी बात नहीं करेंगे, उनकी आने वाली फिल्म जिनके पोस्टर्स आप यहाँ पे देख सकते हो। वी आर गोइंग टू बी टॉकिंग अबाउट हाथी मेरे साथी. And Rana, this is a trilingual.
Yes, sir.
It has been shot in Tamil, Telugu, and in Hindi. When it comes to Hindi, I think so this has become very familiar ground, because right from your first film after Leader, soon after that you did Dam Maro Dam, then there was Department, there was Baby, and after Bahubali, obviously the entire pan-India audience know you.
Yes.
So there is nothing different when it comes to doing a Hindi film for you, right?
No, not at all. But I'll tell you one thing that I realized is, like you said, like first earlier in my career, I came and did Dam Maro Dam, right? That was a film that was set in Goa, so it was fine. Anything to do with Hindi culture in that sense, whether it's something that I don't really understand, whether it's say getting a Punjabi dialect correct or getting a Gujarati dialect correct, that's something that I don't do. So I realized every time I come and make a Hindi film, I have to come with something new and unique.
Okay.
So I either come underwater with a film like Ghazi, or I come with a big kingdom called Maheshmati in Bahubali, or now I come as Bandev in the jungle. So I think it's, if every time I come here, I'd like to give the audiences an experience. They walk into the theater, you should feel like you're taken away from your everyday city life, and you have to get submerged into some place, and this film will submerge you inside of a rainforest like you are in the midst of 30 elephants.
Animal films, both in Hindi cinema, in Tamil, Telugu cinema, there's been a lot of iconic animal films. Lekin there's been a time, like say from the past decade or so, we have not seen much of this. Earlier there used to be a lot of this. So you could say that this could probably usher in that era back.
Of course, see, like obviously the title comes from a classic old Hindi film, Haathi Mere Saathi.
Rajesh Khanna.
Yes. So at that time, both Telugu, Tamil and Hindi used to consistently make a lot of films. There, when I was young, I saw Rajendruda, Gajendruda, I saw films with elephants, I saw films with bears, I saw films with lions.
We wish we also did.
Yeah, and I think that taught us a certain nature of how to be with animals, what that is. And today I think you need a very different kind of film to tell the same story. And I mean, we're now sitting and talking after a 1 year of lockdown. So I think today, not just us, every single one who's watching us knows the importance of environment, importance of nature, and how much we need to take care of it.
More than ever.
And more than ever, right? So I think this really is the right time for it, for a film like this. And what we've really tried, as much as this is a big action, it's a big adventure film, it's a film for kids, adults, all of them. We really tried to make an experience which is like a rainforest. So when you go into the cinemas, apart from what we've shot, we have people like Russell Pukuti and others who've come and accentuated that sound. Yeah. So when you walk from a bustling Bombay street, go into the cinema, and we will just transport you into a jungle. And that's really what we've tried to put together for this time.
When you did Ballal Dev, the physique you had, probably as good as Prabhas's physique was, your physique looked even more empowered.
Larger.
As Ram Gopal Varma and all said, move over Rambo, move over Arnold Schwarzenegger. Now it's only Rana Daggubati with that kind of physique. So, I mean, how difficult, or I mean, human psychologically it is to shed that physique for your other roles. I mean, you must get attached to that, no? When you build such a lovely body.
I remember first, as soon as this film came to me, it was when I just finished Bahubali, obviously. And you knew how I was. I was another half person sitting here. And we actually put those looks out, but I'll share that with you. We did a look test for Haathi at one point. We spent a good day in Hyderabad, got a certain look ready. And Prabhu saw the entire look and he said, "This is not the guy I want." And he said, "This is not how the forest man is. This is not what he wanted in terms of just the physicality first. So you needed to look like somebody that came out of the wild. Now, if you live in the wild, what would you eat? What would you live with? How would you move? And if you start seeing, my shoulder will be it'll feel slightly dislocated in this. It's slightly above because people climb with one hand very fast. So started taking details like that, started shredding the body completely. And it's not till 3 days before shoot I knew how I was looking actually, because we were figuring out the process, and we used to do a big makeup test, and after that Prabhu used to come and say, sir, something's not right, and he used to go. And it was finally when we went to Thailand, we had to now train with the elephants. So I had about 10 days, 12 days of training. And that's where Prabhu sir was there, his ADs, kept walking with me along in the jungle. We kept reading the scenes. We decided what Bandev's relation to the elephant is, what Bandev's relation to the plant is, what Bandev's relation to the tree he lives in is. So I think that kind of really emerged out in terms of what this character was. He wanted me to speak very fast. He said he's somebody who wouldn't have spoken to humans in a long time. He never had a conversation with humans.
Much more comfortable with animals.
He's much more comfortable with animals. So each animal has a very unique sound. The way I communicate with a bird is unique, and those kind of things.
You ever felt intimidated while shooting with elephants? Initially, I mean, before that comfort level came, because they are elephants after all.
I think more than intimidation, there was an excitement for me. I think that drives over all intimidation and everything else. I'll tell you one thing, like, see, when we were discussing...
Some experience, like something you remember that stood out.
See, like the first real episode that I was shooting, right, was me and 15 elephants. Okay. So there was no other co-actor. It was just me and 15, 18 elephants that were there, shifting on shift basis. And see, when you talk here, when you're sitting here and talking and I say 15 elephants, it's easy to say it. Yes. But when you're walking next to 15 elephants or in the middle of 15 elephants, the ground next to you shakes, right? The earth is moving and you're feeling it as you're walking. Now, one wrong step at that point, it's a mammoth. It's not small, right? You don't know where it's going to be. And there were many scenes where I lead forward and the elephants are coming behind. So sometimes you know the pace only by the tremor on the earth. Okay, I should move faster because the elephant is coming closer. Like, and that really was something here. To be part of the wild, just to be experience and live with them. See, from fear it became friendship, extreme friendship. And see, and the wild is very pure. It's not. It doesn't they're untouched and they're not complicated like us. They like you, and they like you forever, right? And that's really what happened with every single elephant and me.
One thing that stood out because the name is same and that's an iconic movie. One thing that stood out in Rajesh Khanna's movie, besides the elephant, it was unique. The emotions. People were left very emotional at the end. Now, along with the action is looking good. The setting is looking good. But when it comes to elephants, they are very emotional and intelligent animals both. Yes. So how much of that have you all brought into the movie, that deep emotion?
Extreme. It's see, if you I give you a story in the snapshot, right? It's a story of a man who's been living in the jungle for over 20-25 years, and every time there was a problem, he was there. Like the jungle saw many problems before. It saw sandalwood smugglers, it saw tiger poaching, it saw X, it saw Y, and this is a man who's there. But today the jungle sees a very different problem. It sees a problem of urbanization, where the entire jungle might disappear, right? And that is the brink of this problem that is addressed in this film. And see, today if someone comes and takes over your house, you will go to the police, you will complain, or we will go to somewhere and sit and do a dharna. Now, what can an elephant do? You're taking its home, and so Bandev becomes that voice of the forest. So in that sense, the emotion from the beginning till the end stays through and through. And to me personally as an actor, I think this is probably the most noble character I've played. See, I fought wars for kingdoms, I fought wars for love, you fight wars for friendship.
You were a leader.
Yeah, you fight wars for politics.
You took on the drug smugglers.
Yeah, so you fight all this. Right? But fighting man for nature, I think is the most noble thing that you can do in today's time.
Rana, you have been fantastic,
Thank
and
you,
I'm
sir.
sure Haathi Mere Saathi was going to become a Saathi of every person
Thank you.
in the theatres.
Thank you very much.
Guys, अब मैं क्या बोलूँ? Rana Daggubati himself is going to tell when and where should you all watch Haathi Mere Saathi.
Okay, well, the 26th of March, we are bringing The Forest to the cinemas. So go enjoy the film, and I'll see you there.